Years ago, I worked on a book with my friend Paul McKenna, and the book was eventually published under the title, I Can Make You Rich. And in putting together the book, he wrote it, I was the editor. We interviewed billionaires. We interviewed some of the richest people that we could find on the planet, including, I think, 10 of the 50 wealthiest people on the Forbes list. And we wanted to see what we could see about patterns of how the truly financially wealthy thought about money, what they did with money, and anything that we could see that might be useful to kind of more normal people like us and like you. And one of the things that really surprised us when the book came out is that the thing that people reported was the most helpful wasn't all the strategies that the super rich use to be super rich. It was a chapter just based on something we noticed about emotional spending. And what we noticed was that most people spend an incredible amount of money trying to make themselves feel better, as if somehow there was a connection between what you spend, what you have, and how you feel. Now, if you think about it, you're probably thinking, well, there is. I mean, when I bought this, I felt great. When they even call it retail therapy. Of course it works. But here's the thing. The reason retail therapy can be therapeutic is because we think getting that thing will make us happy. And so when we get it, it's like you put the puzzle piece in the puzzle slot and there's an endorphin release. There's an actual chemical release in the brain that for the moment sends a good feeling through the body. But if you think about it, most people then have an equal and opposite response afterwards, where they start to feel bad or they start to feel stressed because now they're spending more money, and so they need another hit of endorphin to make themselves feel better, so they go out and buy more stuff to get the next hit, and ultimately, for some people, that can become a shopping addiction. It can become a constant thing that keeps them in debt. Now, hopefully, that's not your situation, but I can pretty much promise you that if you did one thing, it would make a tangible difference to your finances in a very short period of time. And it's not what most people expect. So most people expect that they're going to be put on a money diet, right? That they're going to have to start, we call them budgets in money, but it's the same thing. You can't do this, and you have to cut back, and you have to be tight. And the thing that is absolutely known about diets is diets make people fat. They make them thin in the short term if they stick to them. But as soon as they come off them, it's like, oh, such a relief that all that old thinking starts flowing again, and now they have permission again, and then they, generally speaking, wind up putting on more weight than they take off. And so the cycle begins again. It's exactly the same with money. When you try and artificially restrict your spending, what happens is it might work while you do it, and the second you stop doing it, you tend to wind up in the same amount of debt or more debt than you were before. So here's a thought experiment. The next time you go shopping, I want you to just notice in the moment before you choose something, are you buying it because you want it for some purpose, or are you buying it to make yourself feel better? Now, it's okay. If you're buying it to make yourself feel better, buy it to make yourself feel better. If you're buying it to buy it, buy it to buy it. The key thing is to begin to notice. And the wonderful thing about noticing is when you start to notice things, when they come to your attention, when they come into your consciousness, the intelligence behind the system starts to guide you. And it starts to steer pretty flawlessly between when it's fine to buy something for the hit and when actually you realize you don't really need the hit, and you wind up with a lot less stuff you don't use and a lot more money that you can use to facilitate the exchange of different goods and more useful services.